and gentlemen, welcome to Touching Tips, a podcast dedicated to the world of PSVR2. My name is Karen Alive and Well, and I'll be introducing your hosts. From the west of Ireland, he is a visionary, a leader, a sensual and generous lover, as I can attest. Petrifying Pumpkins. Pumpkins was once a successful businessman before a tragic incident left him with stage 2 ligma of the mind. No longer able to run his multinational POG corporation, Pumpkins turned to his other passion, PSVR. Hence this channel and later podcast were born. Pumpkins is famous all over the world thanks to the various Easter eggs dedicated to him in PSVR exclusive Firewall 0 Hour. Most famously, if you go to the hangar map in the air control tower, you will see radar screens with various aircraft designations that, when combined, spell out Petrifying Pumpkins. It really does make him better than you. From Mexico, he has many names: El Chupacabra, El Fuego, El Pasión. But around here we call him Mr. 777 or Jackpot. Mr. 777 moved to the United States as a wee lad. A former Xbox fan, Jackpot gave up on Team Green when he discovered the future is virtual reality, and has been on PlayStation since. Jackpot lives with his mother in her basement. She reached out to Pumpkins, begging him to let Jackpot be a co-host as she worries about his lack of social communication skills, as you will soon see for yourselves. He turned to marijuana at a young age and has reached a stage where if he were to ever stop smoking, the shock to his system would kill him immediately. Jackpot has a heavily stained pillow that he calls Amanda. He believes that she is real and that he is in a long-term relationship with her. His catchphrase is, "Bitch." And finally, all the way from the frigid wastes of Canada, comes Muzz. Muzz has a passion for maple syrup and discussing PSVR2. He once got lost in the frozen tundra of northern Canada with his best friend. The ordeal was harrowing and led to Muzz eating the remains of his friend in order to survive. Shortly after, Muzz turned to VR gaming as a way to escape the horrors of the reality he leaves every time he puts on the headset. It's worth noting that while Muzz maintains his best friend was dead before he began to consume him, later studies of the remains hinted at the possibility that the friend died from infections that were caused from bites, though due to a handling error, the evidence was deemed inadmissible and Muzz walked free. He also has a cat. Without further ado, let the show begin. I've been Karen Alive and Well, and I will now hand you over to the strong, sexy hands of Pumpkins. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and all that usual YouTube shite.
What the fuck is this?
And unmute Muzz, and we should be live. Microphones should be coming through. Test. 1, 2, 3,
Hello,
4,
hello.
6.
Are we all good?
Can we get a test? Can we get a good audio test?
Testes.
I think we're probably good. I see the bars going up and down. It's probably good. And Donnie's giving us the thumbs,
Yeah.
which of course is a good sign. So I'm
Yeah.
joined by Muzz and Jackboss. Lads, thank you for joining me. How you been?
I'm good. I see Jackpot got himself a new hat. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice hat, Jackpot.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me on, I've had a good busy week, and I can't wait to talk about PSVR games. All right, Jackpot's in a good mood today. Nice to see us every once in a while. But, joking aside, Jackpot sadly has passed away, and he has been replaced. But no, he's got an infection, some kind of genital thing, and urinary tract infection. That was this. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he can't join us. So he kind of left it last minute as well. So I didn't have time to kind of organize a replacement, sadly. But we do.
Poor guy's pissing needles. He's
passing stones. He's passing stones.
Poor guy.
But yeah. So there's no Jackpot today, so you can expect this episode to probably be a lot better, a lot more streamlined, and just enjoyable in general, I would imagine. But you can tell us at the end if that's true or not. Moz, have you finished Horizon Call of the Mountain yet? This is the thing I'm
I
going to
think
ask you
I'm
every
very
week.
close.
Oh my
I think I'm
god.
really close. I was playing. No, I was playing it pretty late last night, but then I finally just called it quits. But I think I'm right before like a big encounter. Like I saved my brother, so that's probably close to the end, right? And I think I'm on like the last little portion of the game where
Your end game territory at least.
yeah.
But yeah,
I think the very last thing I did, he was like injured, lying on like some table with his leg hurt, and then I was like gonna go do something probably last thing in the game, I think.
mad spoilers for Horizon Call of the Mountain.
Yeah, it just came out, so the game is so new. I shouldn't be spoiling anything like that, I guess. Yeah, sorry guys.
Let me.
I'm like I'm the last PlayStation VR2 owner to probably have played it.
There's still millions of us to come. You know, PSVR2
Yeah.
owners that haven't been born yet. Anyway, Mojo is there. He says, "Well, how you doing, Mojo?" Geisen is there, getting moist. Donnie smashing the thumb. Thank you, Donnie. The most epic intro ever. It's heartfelt. Thank you, Donnie. I appreciate that. Move Master mixes, evening lads and ladies. Jackpot is the only American here, says Mojo, with jokes on him because Jackpot's not even here. It's an American free zone tonight. War Room is there, saying howdy. How you doing, War Room? Thanks for the test, Donnie and Mick. And Roy Schwartz is peeping. And Virus is there as well. How you doing, Virus? Nice playing with you yesterday, by the way. That's your twin brother. I don't know. He looks a bit young. Mick. Not the questicle infection. It could be a questicle infection, Donnie, yeah.
Damn, that's the most painful one.
Oh, brutal. Got an STD down in TJ. Is that
No,
Tijuana?
I shouldn't be saying this, but that's actually why Decepticon's not around. He just got a really bad case of it, and he's been out for. I think he's been hospitalized. Yeah, he might have got it from Decepticon. Honestly,
yeah, probably did.
Playing too much together.
Probably did. Infinity Lefty, it's nice to see you. Mojo says, "What milestone do I need to reach to get on this show? I need you to have 10,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel." Donnie says that's like 2/3 though. 2 out of 3. Not sure what he means. Your progress in Horizon. Okay.
Oh, not really. I'm not close to the end. Wow.
2/3. There you go. Worm says still lots of climbing left, but you love the climbing, don't you, Muzz? And Germ is here. Nice to see you, Germ. Hope you're keeping well.
Germ.
LSB shaking that head, and Virus said, "I played very badly yesterday." Sorry, you didn't play very badly yesterday. I just make everyone else look bad because I'm so good. That's how it is. All right. And Mojo says, "I will be back." All right. I've given you some determination, Mojo. Anyway, Muzz. Without further ado, it might feel a bit weird with just the two of us, but are you ready to jump in with our first topic?
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel dirty. The first two topics are kind of depressing, doom and gloom shit, but the next few topics after that are going to be more optimistic and hopeful, I think. But the first one is Rec Room, which is... I've already made a video on this topic, but I thought it was worth talking about with Muzz and Jackpot, but obviously Jackpot's time was better spent elsewhere, it seems. So it's just going to be me and Muzz. And Muzz, we got a problem here at Rec Room. The devs are saying it's not financially viable for them to port it to PSVR2.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean the end of the world or anything. I don't think it's not a good sign. I guess even like a small publisher like that would bail on porting it over to another console for more sales. You think that would just be like a no-brainer?
I don't think they're that small anymore. I know they were small when they started off.
Yeah,
but like,
I guess they are growing.
Gotten really popular, and they're big on flat now as well. And when I made this video, I got a lot of replies along the lines of, well, VR isn't their focus anymore. It's kind of, they've moved on to flat and mobile as well, apparently. That's where Rec Room is kind of big now. So when you think of it that way, you could see why PSVR2 would be like bottom priority for them, you know?
Especially if they're going mobile. That's like where as painful as it is, that's where all the gaming money is
and
mobile.
The kids.
Yeah.
LSB says you did fine. Virus was fun to watch. And where in the hell is Jackpot playing Pal World VR? That's probably what he's doing, palling around. But yeah, this is I don't like, some people were trying to cut it as a good thing, like, oh, no more kiddie game or no kids to worry about or whatever. But I don't think you can really cut this as any way other than a bad thing. especially when PSVR 2 is lacking a social game. You know, we don't have VR chat, we don't have
Hmm.
Rec Room. Like, so if you wanted to succeed with one of these games, like you'd want to be the first one there. But even with that pull of being the only one in that market, the market itself is too small for them to actually bother. So hopefully that's something that can change in the future with more sales for PSVR 2. But as it stands right now, kind of depressing, kind of worrying. And
Yeah.
the thing isn't even out a year yet. And the Apple Vision Pro, which has just released, they've already got Rec Room on that. And that thing costs $3,500 and it's for kids. So why would they put it on that and not on PSVR 2? So it's all confusing to me.
Yeah. As long as it's just a one and done kind of thing. Like I hope it's just this one studio that announces that kind of information. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I wasn't gonna play it honestly. I mean, it is overrun by kids, so like it's not really a social game that I'd want to jump into and play anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more for the fact that they didn't want to because it wouldn't be profitable was the only thing of mentioning.
Yeah.
But
Keep in mind, it is a free to play game as well. So the only way they could make their money is through in game transactions.
microtransactions,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which didn't
So
appear
that
in
makes
the.
more sense.
Yeah.
That doesn't make more sense then,
Yeah.
technically, because that's a lot of work just to bring it over to a headset that doesn't have as many players as they think it's worthwhile, and then there's not going to be as many microtransactions because there's less people playing it. So it does make sense. I just hope it's just these guys that think that way, and not other developers are going to be starting to do the same thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I will make it for the Quest, but it's not worth it doing on PlayStation VR2.
Yeah. Actually, is this on
That'll
Quest?
spiral.
It must be on
I
Quest.
I,
Yeah, it
I
has to be.
assumed it is, but
Yeah, it has
maybe
to.
it's not.
It has to be. Move Master Mix says Sony's not offering them any money. Yeah, but it shouldn't. You shouldn't need that as well. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's a nice allure or whatever, but you know, the platform should be healthy enough that developers want to put their game on it and not need to be bribed into doing it. LSB says if Rec Room wasn't free, I never would have played it. Never. I know, but that's how free to play game kind of how they kind of work is they kind of get your hooks in that way, get you in for free, and then maybe you start enjoying disc golf or whatever it is in Rec Room that you enjoyed. Like I had Rec Royale, which is actually the only battle royale mode we had for PSVR 1, and it was actually kind of enjoyable. So people maybe would get in that way, and then they're like, you know what, I'll buy a little token or whatever it was you could buy to get yourself some outfits or whatever. And they are expanding to having like full body avatars. So Rec Room is expanding, the team is growing. You know, this game is probably going to look a lot different in a few years' time. It's going to look a lot better probably. And we'll be left out in the cold, looking in. Well, depending on who you are. SDS says Pavlov's getting a new map. It is in the title, SDS. It's the first thing you see in the title, and we will talk about it, but we're not there yet. We are not there yet, although I am excited about that. Are you ready to move on to the next topic, Muzz, or is there anything else you'd like to say about this?
No, I'll. I know I never really was big into Rec Room anyway, so it's not really something I'm too sad about not coming over.
Okay.
So,
Well,
too much of an interest.
if that news doesn't have you worried about PSVR 2 and the state of PSVR 2 and the future of PSVR 2, how about this news right here?
Uh-oh.
I have on my screen, not a bar chart, sadly, a pie chart, which I have to
gross.
do. I know,
Gross.
it's not the same. It's not the same. And you might be wondering why you showing me a pie chart. This is from the Amazon US sales for the holiday period of all virtual reality headsets. And as you can see, Quest 2 and Quest 3 dominated with 96 point something percent, and PSVR 2 over here with a paltry 3 point something percent over the holiday period in terms of total sales. And then you combine that with the Rec Room developers, and it's like, oh yeah, they got a point. Oh yeah, I can understand why. You know,
like I would have assumed that Quest would outsell it over the holidays, but not by that size of a margin. But I mean, you also have to take into account that like just the amount of people that own PlayStation 5s is relatively low in terms of like just how many people are in the world, right? So like we're already a smaller percentage just because you have to have a PS5 to begin with. To get a PSVR 2. The Quest is for like just anybody that doesn't even have a console. So Like it's much more easy for parents just to like grab a Quest 3 or a Quest 2 for their kid for Christmas, especially Quest 2, because they were. I wonder how much of that chart is Quest 2 and how much of it is Quest
I
3.
think majority Quest 2. From last I
Only
heard is
Quest
that
2.
Quest 2 is still outselling the Quest 3 by a good percent.
Yeah, because it's
So
pretty cheap now, right? So like if
yeah,
someone's gonna go like their kid's asking them for a VR headset for Christmas and they're looking at the markets and like okay, like 500 and $200 for this one. Yeah, okay, we'll get the $200 one.
yeah,
It's not connected to a
it
console
just
or a
makes
powerful
sense.
PC or anything. So
But the problem with this is, and from our point of view, is as long as this is happening, the developers are going to prioritize the Quest, and then we'll get the scraps if we're lucky. If we're lucky, they'll
yeah,
bother to give us the scraps, and then we're left with Quest 2. And the only way around that is for Sony to step in and either use their first party or to bring out their wallets and start writing checks to, you know, Capcom to bring
right.
us Resident Evil and whatnot.
Well, that's where it starts. It starts with Sony stepping in and stepping up and releasing 3 or 4 big titles that are like head turners to get people like, oh wait, maybe we should get a PlayStation VR 2, and then all the like smaller devs that are going to be primarily focusing on the Quest will be like, oh well, now the numbers are growing because people are showing more interest in Sony's headset because they have games that the Quest doesn't have.
Yeah, but keep
Right
in
now,
mind
there's not enough games that we have that the Quest doesn't have. So
this as well. This chart includes the time when Resident Evil 4 remake would have released for PSVR 2. So you'd imagine if headsets were going to
right,
move, it would have been during this period.
right,
So it's kind of more depressing that way. Although Donnie does bring up a good point. This is just Amazon. A lot of people would have got their PSVR headsets either directly from Sony or from other
yeah.
retailers. However, you could say that about Quest as well. Like you don't just have to get your Quest from Amazon. You can go into a shop or any other retailer that sells them. It's not just an Amazon thing. So
Can
it's,
you? I don't think you can get the Quest. I don't think I can go into like a GameStop here in Canada and buy a Quest. You can buy a PlayStation VR 2, but I don't think I can get a
really?
Quest from.
I
I don't
go
think
into
so. I
my
don't.
local one is a Smith's. That's what we have over here, and you go in there and I
Okay.
see Quests on the shelves, and
Yeah. I don't think I saw any boxes for Quest unless I just totally missed them. But I saw like the boxes for the PlayStation VR 2 all on the shelves
not
for
even
the
Quest
Sony
2.
sides. I don't think so. I
All
don't
right.
recall. I'll have
Okay.
to double check, but I never asked because I never was planning on buying one. But now that I'm just thinking about it, I don't remember seeing any boxes of any kind displaying in the store for
I can
Quest
even
or
picture
anything.
the box in my head. It's got like a purplish pink kind of a, like
Hmm.
it's mostly white with a purplish pink art style or whatever. Anyway,
I
that's
could
not
be
important.
wrong. If anyone in the chat knows if GameStop sells them, tell me I'm wrong or not. But
HDS says that's embarrassing. It's not good. It's bleak. And this is
it
really depressing
is.
stuff. You combine this with First Contact shutting down as well. And, you know, it's like there's a lot of potential negativity and a lot of potential doom and gloom
But we're just
out there.
focusing, like you said, we're just focusing on the Amazon sales. So like until I
Yeah.
have like definitive numbers from Sony telling us like how many in total headsets they've sold like to date, then I don't really I
Donnie,
don't have any reason to be worried yet unless Sony like comes out like tomorrow on the state of play. They basically come out saying like, yeah, so we're just gonna have one last big hurrah with a big game because the
here's your
headset's just not
refunds.
selling.
Refunds
Yeah,
coming out to everyone who bought a PSVR 2. Uh,
refunds for everybody.
Donnie says we get the scraps of the kids whose parents want a cheap babysitter, and then we suffer as a result 100%. And that's my worry as well for tomorrow, but we'll get to that when we get to us. But Vandal is here as well. How you doing, Vandal? Nice to see you. He says that chart shows so many taking the blue pill and not waking up to true virtual reality. Matrix. Hashtag Matrix, take the red pill. Uh, do you have a Quest 3 pump? I don't have any Quest. I would never defile my face with a Quest. Deadeye Dan says Walmart sell Quest headsets. So there you
Okay.
go. That's another big.
Pretty easy to get.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty easy to get them.
Donnie says maybe not GameStop, but in Walmart, Target, etc., you will find Quest 2 on the shelf. So there you go. So it's not just PSVR 2 that has other options. Quest also has other retail avenues you could get. So when you keep that in mind as well, it's kind of extra bleak. Maybe it's a different story outside of America, but I suspect it's probably the same or similar in Europe. Maybe Asia is different. I don't know. But yeah, depressing. depressing stuff. Definitely a concern.
It's a little troubling.
If
I
you're
mean, we'll see after the state of play tomorrow to see what Sony has in store for like future plans for this year and beyond. If they come out and just give us like one game, like I'm kind of expecting, I don't have my hopes high, but if that's all they show, then it's maybe not a good future coming.
and like if you're thinking about releasing a VR game and you're doing your marketing research and you're looking at statistics like this, you're like, you know what? Let's skip the PSVR2. Let's just focus on the Quest. And obviously, the Quest is like a blessing and a curse, in my opinion, because it's keeping VR alive, but it's also keeping VR games dazed and held back and, antiquated.
Yeah.
Sadly. Anyway, we won't go on about that too much because it's too depressing.
Yeah, I can see Jackpot starting to tear up over there, so I better like move along.
He's taking off his hat to mourn. He's mourning us.
Yeah, over and over again too. Hats off. Doing it.
Hats off to the PSVR too. But how about some hope tomorrow, Muzz? Yeah. Because we've got a state of play about to drop. So this was leaked first. Yeah, it should have been today. It would have been handy. But this was leaked first by what's his name, Caraxus on Twitter. Who some people suspect is like a Google employee or whatever who had access to the YouTube because they uploaded the state of play on their YouTube account, and then some people can watch it who have access to the back end of YouTube, and they're leaking it that way, but we don't know for sure. Anyway, it's happening tomorrow night, 10 p.m. my time, 5 p.m. Eastern, and then like 2 p.m. Pacific, I think. And according to Caraxus, he says a Metro VR game is going to be leaked, and it's going to be called Metro Awakening. There's been clues, a lot of people as well speculating that this is going to be developed by Vertigo Games because they've teased like working on a AAA well-known IP in the past. That's kind of lining up to being them. So if you don't know who Vertigo are, they've done Arizona Sunshine, they've done After the Fall, The Seventh Guest as well, so they've got like some decent games under their hat. As for the state of play itself though, it's going to be 40 minutes long and they're going to be showing 15 titles. Sony themselves in the blog post confirmed that PSVR 2 is going to be part of that. They've also said Rise of the Ronin and Stellar Blade are going to be there, so that's 2 out of the 15 gone straight away. Kojima is also teasing us on his Instagram account, so Death Stranding 2 is probably going to be there as well. And finally, the Caraxus dude put out like a cryptic tweet with several references to different games that was going to be there, and if you put them all together, it's Silent Hill 2 remake, an Until Dawn remaster, a Sonic game, Rise of the Ronin, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Death Stranding 2, and he calls it Kojima's Dream as well, which I'm guessing means like his movie because they're making a Death Stranding movie. So maybe they'll show something of that as well. And Judas. I don't know if you remember Judas, but those are the kind of confirmed ones. I think if you add them, that's like 12, which leaves 3 left over of unknowns. So yeah, to go back to Metro Awakening though, if this thing is real, if it is by Vertigo Games, what do you think? Is this going to move the needle, get people hyped?
It might start to. Metro's like I've never played a Metro. Have you?
No, this is one. I was actually annoyed.
So there you go.
I was like, God damn it! Why can't it be an IP that I know or I'm interested in?
Although
I will be interested because of viewer, but yeah, sorry, go on.
I've heard just like a lot of good things about it. I don't remember anyone ever like that I know played it or any Metro game ever saying that they're bad games. So I think it's like a good quality game to pick. It's just not. It's like obviously we didn't play any. So how many people are tied to the Metro brand that would get them like super excited to buy? I'm strictly just talking for people that don't have a headset yet. Yeah. Would someone buy a PlayStation VR2 headset to play a Metro game in VR?
I feel like Metro is like a stronger IP on PC. I feel like maybe has like a bigger history with PC. I could be wrong about that. So obviously it's come to consoles more recently.
Could be right.
But it's one of those kind of franchise that sells a few millions, but not the massive numbers like a GTA or something like that. It's not that well known.
Well,
obviously, not many games are, of course, but like even Call of Duty or something like that, or Fallout,
or like a Fallout. Yeah, I would compare it more to like a Fallout because it has like the survival kind of elements to it.
Mm-hmm. But what's interesting about this is like it appears to Well, I mean, it could be, but based on the title, Awakening, it sounds like it's going to be like a VR, like a Half-Life Alyx type situation where it's not going to be a port of a game that's already out. It'll be something they
Yeah.
built ground up for virtual reality. However, my biggest worry about this is that it is just going to be a Quest 2 game that they're going to show off. Like, it's going to be also like a multi-plat game that they're going to show off on the PlayStation show, but it's also going to be on Quest, so that means it's going to be, held back and you'll see it.
Yeah, like are they going to do more work for it for the PlayStation VR2? I think that they will probably do some improvements because it's a bigger studio, more money to do that kind of thing, to like try to polish it up more for the PlayStation VR2 to make it look as nice as possible.
Well, my thing is that like it's not so much visuals. It's like when a game is made for Quest 2, like it limits the game, like what can be done gameplay wise, like the number of enemies on screen and the level layouts and like
Right.
all these things they have to take in consideration because essentially it's a mobile game. So the limitations of the mobile, because Quest is a mobile headset basically, but that's going to implement massive restrictions when they're designing the game. So it's at like a fundamental level, it's going to be held back, for lack of a better word. Doesn't mean it can't be good or an amazing game. Not saying that. Obviously, Asgard's Wrath 2 is apparently amazing. Assassin's Creed Nexus, also a great game.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it can't be great. I'm just saying it's like when I look at it, and if it's a Quest game, I'm going to be like, I wonder what this would have been like if it was a PSVR 2 only. Or PC as well, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, it will depend too if it's just a straight port. Like if they designed it to run on the Quest and then they just copy and put it on the PlayStation VR2, then it will look identical. But if they do try to like make improvements for it to run on the PlayStation VR2, I mean, using foveated rendering and like that, would they put the time and effort into making that work? Because there's not enough games that do that yet, honestly. Like there's some, but not nearly enough to.
We should probably look at their past games to see, like Seventh Guest, for example, the difference between the two of them. I mean, I don't think they don't look night and day apart. I'm sure there's improvements on PSVR 2, but I don't think it'll be like a massive graphical overhaul or anything.
This seems like it'll be probably their biggest game to date. Like our Arizona Sunshine was decent size, but it wasn't like a big giant world, right? Like it was pretty linear.
Yeah.
But Metro is usually a little more open than that. So
I think they're still fairly limited though, or linear. Metro.
yeah,
Maybe I could
it's
be wrong.
not quite like a Fallout, but I mean it does have bigger areas to explore than Arizona Sunshine, where it was more like just walking through like towns and stuff is what you did there. So that is just assuming too that it's going to be like the other Metro games that were bigger, because this one is possibly being built from the ground up. So maybe it will be a smaller experience. We have no idea yet. We'll wait and see.
Could be, yeah. TB is there. How you doing, TB? He says, "I love Metro." So we got a mess head in the chat.
Metro person.
Donnie says, "Never played a Metro game, but they all look as if they would transition to VR easily." Yeah, they got like a very cool. Well, they're all first person. They got really cool post-apocalypse vibes and atmospheric tunnels and shit.
Lots of stuff on like their arms, like all like the different gadgets and stuff, like on their wrists and stuff for their health. It's all very VR friendly.
TB says it feels AA or low budget AAA, to be honest. Interesting. SDS says Metro is badass, take my word. Jeremiah says I loved Metro. So we got a few Met heads. Move Master Mix says they're good solid shooters. I enjoyed them even on the Switch. They played great. LSB says Asgard's Wrath 2 proves the Quest 2 is capable of quite a bit in the graphics department. But that's got a huge budget as well. Like that's a meta game. Like you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It can look good. It's just that those kind of games don't come along very often. SDS says Asgard 2 is like playing God of War in VR. LSB says it's funny last gen you didn't even have analog sticks. I know. That is true. And we hated it. That's why we love the aim controller as well so much. It's like, oh, we got analog sticks on these things as well. So that was secretly a main reason why Firewall was so good as well, is that you could have analog sticks. TB says Asgard's Wrath 2 is definitely not Half-Life Alyx though. Something we're looking for, and Alyx is already 3 years old. Amazing LSB says, now you have become graphics whores. I've always been a graphics whore. But listen, my standards are raised. You can't play Firewall Ultra and then have that experience, like to have that seep into you and like, oh yeah, this is what this headset can do. and then have to just take a step back. Like, it's not easy, you know. It's not a small step back either. Going from Ultra and then going to like Honor and Juicy, there's like multiple generations.
Yeah. Well, that's like going from a PlayStation 5 back to a PlayStation 2 or...
Yeah. SDS says, I played all the Metro Last Light, Metro Redo, and Metro Exodus. I think Exodus was the newest one, wasn't it? Which is why I got the trailer for it there. Donnie says, it's kind of strange this episode has been a bit more technical regarding comments and word usage with a lot less bitch quotes. I don't know. I don't know what the reason for that is. I can't explain it personally. Okay, so
Jackpot, your mic's not on, Jackpot. Turn your mic on over there.
He's busy.
Stop taking your hat off. Stop taking your hat off.
He's looking for his mic. Is it under here? No, it's not.
Is it under here? He just keeps looking.
Maybe it's here now. So, Muzz, if we're watching this tomorrow, and if the only VR thing we get, and I suspect it won't be because there is one other thing I'm suspecting is going to be there, but we'll get to that near the end. But if this is the only PSVR2 thing we see, are you going to be disappointed? Let's say it looks good, though. Let's say it looks
yes.
good. You'll be disappointed.
Yeah. If it's the only thing that they show, yes, I will absolutely be disappointed.
Okay. Even if it is like, oh shit, this is Half-Life Alyx. You know, our Half-Life Alyx.
Yeah. It'd have to be like mind-blowingly amazing if that's the case, but still, just giving us one game after such a long silence on VR in general would not be enough.
And then who knows when it's coming out even. You know, they said the whole thing is going to show what's coming for 2024 and beyond, so it might not even be a 2024 game for all we know. Plus delays happen all the time. Tasuki is here. Nice to see you, Tasuki. He says, hard to go from Pavlov that feels like a full VR game where you can reload and interact so much back to Firewall where your hands are glued to the guns and you eye track grenades. I see what you're doing there. You're trying to turn the tables on me, Tasuki, but that's fair enough. If that's what you feel, I 100% understand it. Germ says Alex is almost 4 years old now. What if we see Half-Life Alyx tomorrow, Muzz? Do we hit the roof?
I'd be excited. I mean, I think a lot of the craze has kind of died down over it, but I still want to play it. I don't care when it comes out. I'll play it when it comes out. If it does. But I can't see it happening though. I'd be very shocked.
Well, probably would have been part of the dude's leak. That's providing now all of this is true. Take all of this with a pinch of salt, by the way. I should have said that at the very beginning. Just because he got the date of the state of play right, he did say it was like the 31st-ish. And then 2 days later, it was like, oh, maybe the next day, I was like, oh, it's coming the 31st. Doesn't mean the games that he listed were right. You know, he could be just making up a load of shit for Klaus. So keep that in mind. There might not be a Metro at all, which could be like, that could be crushing now. If we watch it tomorrow and it's just like a little DLC.
The next one. The next one you're going to talk about. That's it.
And then that's it. Jesus, that'll be rough. That'll be rough. But like we always say, though, keep your expectations in the absolute dirt. Don't even expect Metro. Don't even expect Metro tomorrow.
I'll go slowly get my shovel and just start digging a hole. put my headset down and a teary-eyed. Oh, it's over.
Organ music playing. Patsy is here. He says, I'm going to say it's PSVR2 exclusive. I like that optimism.
That'd be nice. We need more of those.
I don't. Again, my expectations in the gutter, so I'm gonna. If it's even there, I'm gonna assume it's gonna look like a Quest game. AC6 the Mad Hasser says someone was building a VR game on PC called Paradox of Hope, which had an incredibly similar vibe to Metro. 6 months ago, they got hit with copyright infringement and had to cancel the game. Interesting.
I vaguely remember that. I remember that actually.
So yeah, if they were developing their own VR game, they'd be like, no, we can't have this out there. Get rid of it.
Yeah, looks too much like a Metro, which we are planning to do. So
that's good intel. AC6, nice to see you as well, by the way.
Good callback.
SDS says, now go to play Metro Awakening in VR, bring it on. I hope they don't cancel it like they always do. Well, hopefully it'll be something that comes out soon enough. Suki wants to see Kermit's VR adventure. Well, come on, Tasuki. Get the headset on. We'll have ourselves a time.
Jordan Peterson. Where'd you come from?
Jordan's VR adventure.
Jordan Peterson's. He just sits there and yells at you for 5 or 10 minutes of politics.
You son of a bitch. He's got the eye trackers on. I can see you're not looking at me. Pay attention. The Muppets Go to Ireland, says LSV. No expecting a big title, and we get that. Lol. SDS says, I'd be surprised if they cancel it tomorrow. I don't know what you mean by that. Cancel it tomorrow. You mean if they don't show it tomorrow? Well, keep in mind, it's not confirmed. It could be just something that somebody made up. Nobody knows for sure. It's probably going to be there. I do believe it's probably a legit leak. But just in case. And Ali Boy is here. Nice to see Ali Boy. But yeah, Muzz, is there any prediction you would make for tomorrow? Or actually, hold on. Before you answer that, that could be a fax machine. That could be a fax machine thing. And maybe we should save that for the fax.
Well, take a look. Take a look and see.
Yeah, that is one.
All right.
And we leave that for the fax machine then. Is there
coming soon.
Is there
coming soon.
Is there anything else we want to say about this? Anything you want to say about Metro before we move on?
No, I really want to play it if this is a thing, and I hope it's not just like a shortened, like, I hope they don't Horizon Call of the Mountain it.
It's gonna be a visual novel, a romantic visual novel set in the Metro universe. It's gonna be anime girls
in the midst of all the chaos and death.
True love.
Will true love prevail? Who will you choose?
Use amazing eye tracking techniques to select the woman you want.
Don't let her catch you staring at her.
Damn. I want that game. I want that game now. Can you imagine the backdrop is just grimy and shit, and there's these anime girls popping up. Anyway, Ali Boy says, also, boys finally got a card that could develop in Unreal Engine 5. Gonna try to get something to PSVR2. Do it, Ali. Follow your dreams, and then give me the exclusive scoop when you've got something to talk about. 86 the Mad Hazard says, it'll end up being Metro soundtrack, now available on Beat Saber. Metro Wave Chooser says, Tsuki, that could be real. That could actually be a thing. Worm says, can love bloom on the battlefield? There you go. Sick Metal Gear Solid reference. And Donnie wants us to move on to the next topic.
All right, Donnie.
Which is Honor and Doozy D-Day. Because I was thinking I wanted to pass another hour talking about Honor and Doozy D-Day enhanced for PSVR2. The real reason is, of course, that we've actually played it now. The full release for €15. I've already given my opinion. Muzz, what would you like to say about this? I'm actually not sure how you feel.
I think it's a good game for what it is at the cost that it is. I think it's worthwhile grabbing, even if it's just like a once in a while thing, as long as the player base is there, because it is strictly you're not going to want to, even if there is bots. I don't think there is bots in this game, but you don't want to play this game with like bots. I don't think you want to play this game with like a full 64 player base kind of thing, big battle. So that's the only worry. Like, how long will this game go until people kind of drop it and then it's just like a ghost town? Hopefully that doesn't happen very soon, but that is always something to consider with a game like this that's very heavy on big battles. But as of now, I think it is a fun game and worth grabbing for the price tag. And there's room for these games on VR. Like, not every game, like smaller indie games can make games like this, especially if they're the only ones doing it. Like, we don't have any other option for this giant kind of battleground in VR. So, like, it's definitely good to have, even if it isn't like the high-end graphics that we want. I just wish that this game existed along with the bigger brand battles.
Well, you'd never play this if you had like Battlefield VR or Battle Base.
Well, it would have to be a really budget. Like, you'd have like a Battlefield would be in VR. That would be like a $70 game or something. Mm-hmm. And then you would have the budget one, like this one here, at like $15. What is it? American?
$15 as well. Yeah, it's the same.
$15. Yeah. So, like, people would still buy for that price just to like jump in and like goof around for a bit, I think, because it's not a big price. And then you would have like the majority of people probably like doing the Battlefield at a bigger one, but like that's never gonna happen anytime soon, I doubt. Like that's not gonna be at the state of play or anything tomorrow. So yeah, I think it's a good game. I do enjoy it. I obviously am looking or like not really focusing on the faults of it and just kind of having fun for what it is. But
Yeah.
like I find the gameplay very similar to like the run and gun style of it's like a bigger battleground Alvo in terms of like the pacing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
And I kind of do good in those kind of games, honestly. Like I'm not saying I like it just because I get lots of kills, but I mean it's like it's very fast paced. Like you need to kind of like have your head on a swivel and just be kind of like run and gun and quick to aim. And the kill time is very low. So like if you start shooting at somebody, they're probably going to die before they could turn around and shoot you, which is always sometimes the problem with I have with some games that have like a higher KD ratio or kill time to kill. So like if you're hitting body shots and you're not getting the headshot, and then someone just spins around that you're shooting and like one shots you in the head and you die, it's like, okay, well they had skill to have better aim than me, but I feel like I should have shot them dead before they had the time to turn around and kind of kill me, kind of thing. So like I find that doesn't happen in this kind of game or Alvo. Like Alvo seems like it's very like you shoot somebody like a couple times and they're dead. Like there's no armor kind of like effect going on there. Even less so than Pavlov. Like Pavlov, you kind of have like the feeling of like a bulletproof vest will be taking several bullets if you're not getting the headshot. But
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you recommend it?
I would, yeah, because they're the only ones doing this. So like if you want to have like an experience of playing like a big battleground in VR, this is the only way to do it. So I mean, just don't expect the highest resolution and like super awesome graphics. And if you know what you're getting for your money, then I think it's fine. Like, and all the little bugs, like with the hand not connecting to the end of the gun right, like that'll get fixed easily enough, like over time. Like that's not going to be there forever. So like all those little like bug things, I don't really consider them much of a problem because they will fix them. And it's just a matter of if you can handle the style of the game, like the characters walk like they have wooden legs and they're like it's like straight up, right? And they don't really walk and shoot like they don't look like people would, like not to the level of like
yeah. South Park walking animations going on there.
Yeah, they're like wooden dolls basically is what you see on the battlefield. So
yeah, okay. Well, Muzz,
if you take the jank with it, and it's a fun time if you just want to get in and goof around for a bit.
Muzz is definitely more positive on this game than I am. I played at that time when I streamed it, and I don't want to be too cruel because the people working on the game are very good people and good supporters for PSVR. But I will just say that I have no desire to play it again. After my first playthrough, it's just like everything you said is there. Like nothing else does this. 64 players, but even with 64 players, it's like, well, that's not enough. If I'm not having fun, I'm just not enjoying the basic core mechanics of the game. It just seems it just seems so random. And you said as well they'll probably fix the way that the gun doesn't line up with the hand. But to me, immediately, it's like you can't release it like that. I don't think you can't just release it with the gun not attaching to the hand and ignore it. Because I think like with this game, a lot of people are, well, it's only €15 and it's only two people developing this, and that's true, and that gives it some credits, but it's just like you can't.
You're still salty. You're still salty about the firewall. So.
Yeah, exactly. No, 100%. Because I was angry after this. Like the same people who are like, "Oh, this is great!" Like they would tear this shit apart if it was made by First Contact Entertainment, and every little thing would be crucified. This game would be. Even if I got a quest, I feel like it would be below what I expect to see on a quest. If you know what I mean. So yeah,
like, I'm not saying the game like looks amazing.
But nobody's saying this looks. Everyone's like, oh, it's the visuals aren't fantastic. But what they're not saying is the visuals are bad. It's not that they're not good; it's that they are bad, and nobody's saying that.
Yeah, it's very
It's just
basic.
although
Everyone's being very friendly about it.
I will say that they like. I assume the First Contact people like they've improved the lighting. So like that beach level with the sunset and everything kind of had a nice little orange kind of glow going on. That looked quite nice.
And more shadows being cast across like the battlefield and stuff. So,
but overall, it's like if you just look at the hand itself, where it just looks like a balloon, like an inflatable balloon. It's like I can't enjoy it. Just me though. Like LSB says, I'm a graphics whore.
Well, I just like I was having fun with it. Like I also don't know what the lasting power will be for that game. Like how often I will be inclined to jump in and play it. I also have to maybe admit too, like I got it for free because I owned it for the first game. I owned it for the first headset, right? So like I didn't have to buy this. So like anytime I put into this game, it's just like free for me at this point.
Basically, yeah.
So I might feel different if I had to buy it again for $15.
That's a fair point.
Or not. It's like over 20 for me, so Canadian dollars.
LSB says, when I saw Frank stream this game, the room was full, I think. Well, Frank would have a big pull as well to get people hopping on. Master Mix says, bots are only there if you're the only person in the server. So that's when you see bots.
And I can't imagine it's fun playing against them either. Like, I don't think that they're just run around, like, not doing much.
I'd imagine the AI there wouldn't be hectic. HDS says, I hope they don't pronounce a Metro PC's phone instead. Metro Awakening. I assume you mean announce a Metro PC phone game at the PlayStation State of Play, which I don't think is going to happen. You're safe enough there. Tasuki says people would pop into this game and remember they should be playing Battlefield and never play it again. LSB says you did it, Ace. You figured it out. I don't know what that means. It's chaotically fun, says Geisen. Man, Geisen was fucking unbelievable in this game. His kill count. Muzz, you were actually a bit of an animal too.
I was on the top of the list for a couple of rounds. So I was getting there.
It's like I don't know if you had like a special gun or something, but like you were like up in the 60s and 50s and ridiculous numbers like that.
I found the LMG. The first row, the LMG that's on that list is pretty OP in my opinion, or at least it was for me. I remember the last time I was playing with Brave, he was asking me what gun I was using because I was like tearing it up again, and he wasn't like near the top of the charts, and I was like, all right, I'll tell you a secret. Play the LMG. He's like, all right, I'll give it a try. And then after the round, he was like matching me up at the top of the list. And he's like, yeah, this gun's broken, man. Like it's too easy.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. I don't mind stuff like that. That's some balance adjustments and stuff like that can be fixed easy enough.
Yeah.
AC6, the Mad Hatter says, I think being positive about this game is a good sign of where PSVR2 is at the moment, which is well, I'll let that speak for itself. Geisen says hands has been patched. Yeah, they did have a patch, in fairness, the day after I played it, where it's like apparently the hands are lined up now, and there was a bug as well where the guns they just stopped shooting. And they apparently fixed that as well. So they're patching it fast. To their credit, I will give them credit for that they're listening to feedback and they're fixing it as quickly as possible. They've also added a new map as well, a tank one. But the maps...
I didn't try the tank yet. I wanted to see if they made improvements to the tank because the tank was borderline unusable before in like the old betas. Like you couldn't tell like what the hell you were doing. It was just like a mess. And you were like, when you were inside the tank, you would like be like glitching through like the seat, and you wouldn't be like positioned properly, and it was garbage.
Yeah. So, but even the cars that they have there now are just like, they don't feel like cars. Floaty. They don't. It just feels like you're running in a weird way with like
that's where they need to.
You're wearing a cardboard carrier. You're picking up a box and you're running down the
street.
Or
a hovercraft. You're driving. You feel like you're driving a hovercraft around the ground. That's what you feel like. That's where they need the biggest improvement. I think if they can get the vehicles like feeling really solid, then I think the game can actually start making some progress. And especially if they have like a bigger map where they can actually get like small planes, like World War II style planes, like biplanes, and like just with the machine gun, because you wouldn't have like overpowered missiles or anything. You would just have like the machine gun turret, so you could do like strafing runs to like try to take out people. That'd be cool.
Dan says, delete the game, run the devs out of business. I don't want to go that extreme. That's a bit harsh, I think. I do wish them the best, and I do hope they can get patch after patch after patch and
Man,
make it better and better and better.
you wanna fire the firewall people again? Man, that's really mean.
Damn.
Twice in a row. Damn.
Ice cold, Dan.
Jeez. So
LSB
mean.
says, is D-Day a PSVR2 exclusive? It is. It is. It really should be on Quest as well. Speaking of Quest, VR Namek is here. Gotta love, what does he say? Gotta love PSVR2 exclusives, paying homage to Quest graphics. I would say you're being harsh on the Quest there. Movemaster Mick says, at the moment, LSB Reggie is looking to other headsets down the line. He could probably do, a game like this could probably do quite well on the Quest, you would imagine. With a low price, you know?
Yeah.
Shapeshifter, the Amorphous Game Cat says, it's not like we don't have any other shooters to play. Pavlov, Alvor, and Breachers are great fun. That's true. So that's also working against us as well, because,
right.
You know, I mean, I can't see myself being taken away from those games to spend time with D-Day.
Unless you're just craving one of those big chaotic battles. Some people want that. Like, that's one thing I've been wishing since day one in VR is like the big Battlefield style games. This is the closest that there is, maybe sadly, but it is the closest thing that there is. So like,
still
if I have the urge, maybe one day we'll get the proper big scale battle that we deserve.
Please God, Warhawk, give me Warhawk VR. Donnie says the guns are level based and do help. Just watch Frank play. That's another thing I'll give it credit for as well. I like the leveling system and like the UI and stuff on the board. That's good.
It reminds me of Firewall Zero Hour with just like the one big board in front of you that you can like look at your whole menu in one spot.
VR Namek says Zuck 2 years ago announced 5-game deal with Vertigo to bring Deep Silver franchises to VR. You know Metro is part of that. Well, there you go. That's sadly, if we do see Metro tomorrow, it's probably going to be held back by that Quest hardware. Jeremiah says, what LMG? You said it was the first one on the row, the LMG?
On the machine gun row, yeah. There was like an LMG. It doesn't have much recoil, and because you have so much more ammo in the clip, you can just like you can get a bigger like kill streak because you can just keep killing people without having to reload before you do. So it's with that as well. And it can surprisingly shoot fairly accurate at long distances if you like just do a couple burst fires and stuff. You can get at range too.
OP. Cyborg, how you doing? He says Ultra Wings 2 is fantastic, and we can talk about that next actually. Shapeshifter says D-Day is fun in my opinion, but it has still a long way to go. The worry about that is like they need to get it done quickly, because how long is the player base going to hang around? VRNMX says, good, you have these good shooters now. I've been enjoying them for years on Quest while you had D-Day, PS1 edition, and Waterfloor back on PSVR1. Firewall Zero Hour easily shits on whatever it is you've been playing and whatever it is you currently play. Also, in my opinion, Firewall Ultra does too. Donnie says, no, the tank map is like a storage unit for them and it's small, like the bridge in Pavlov. So it's a tank map, but it's not a map for tanks. Is what Donnie's saying. There's just like tanks on the map, storage area or whatever. Okay. LSB says, for me, World War II is a serious subject. Jedi Dan says, I would like to see Pavlov increase players count. I don't know if they need to. Do they? Maybe for some modes. But for like search and destroy, 5v5 is good. LSB says, I want gritty, bloody, realistic, like the old Call of Duty games. Yeah. Well, they would do well. Shapeshifter says, true, I love the Battlefield series, so maybe I'm a little biased about D-Day. And Chopped is here. How you doing? He says, Ghost Cock, y'all. Hope you're keeping well, Chopped. Nice to see you again. Hey, LSB says, Medal of Honor for the PS1 had more feels. Yeah, some iconic games back in the World War II days, back when they were everywhere. Actually, I got sick of World War II games a long time ago now. I much prefer
they were overdone there.
Yeah. So moving on.
One last thing I would say is I I think that game strongly needs to get like a proximity chat included in it. And I think the only open channel that it should be is your squad. So whatever your squad is that you're like joining on, you should be able to talk to them at any time. But anybody else on your team should be proximity chat based.
Yeah.
And if they want to have like a open channel to like talk to everybody, you'd have to like do something to your like hold the button down to like go open channel or something. That would be
that makes a lot of sense.
Because sometimes I just can't even like everyone's just talking over each other and it's just like I can't handle too much of that like noise. It just ruins it for me. So I just feel like turning my headset off at that point. But I hope they do that, but I don't know if that's a priority for them or not. But if Frank's gonna listen to this, please pass that along, Frank. Make it so it's not so annoying to listen to 10 people talk. It's like walkabout mini golf sometimes when everybody's just talking over each other.
That's just 8 people.
Yeah, and then this is
64
like,
people. Yes.
The whole time. Overwhelming.
86 says, did they explain why exactly they're developing this on PSVR2 and not say on PSVR/Quest? I don't know. Maybe is Reggie just like a fan of Sony or something? Like, why is he not putting this out in Quest? Or like, it'll be easier to get it out in PC. There's less like QA shit to worry about, so you can put it into early access and stuff. So it's an interesting.
I hear he's like allergic to money or something. So
right.
He doesn't want that Quest money.
No. Jeremiah says, loyal. Is it the bar or the Bren he is talking about? Those are the only 2 spawnable LMGs I remember. What do you mean? Oh, spawnable as in the ones you can buy. I don't know. Did they have names?
They do. I can't remember which one it was. I just know it's the like on the first row of machine guns, it's the LMG. I think it's the second last one on the row.
There you go. Christopher Hart, how you doing, Christopher? The Heartbreak Katie says 64 guys who never had a girl in their beds. Damn. 64, is that what you're saying about our fucking Honor and Duty players?
Honor and Duty.
They're all virgins, is that what you're saying, Chris? Geisen here with the M1918 LMG. Nice one, Geisen. LMG was called M1918, says War Room as well, or something like that. There you go.
Yeah, that sounds like it. Yeah.
Chop says, to hang them Tuesday tips. I don't know what that means. He's stoned again. He is stoned again. I'm moving on to the next topic, which is Ultra Wings 2, because Ultra Wings 2 stealth dropped Muzz out of nowhere. I mean, we knew it was coming. But it even took the developers by surprise. They were like, what? Because apparently there's a day 1 patch that was supposed to be ready to go, and it wasn't ready to go when Sony put it out. So Sony were like, yeah, we'll just drop it now. We won't tell the developers. We'll just put it out. Here
you wanted to do some hype up for your game launching? Oh, too bad. No big release trailer or anything for you. It's just out.
Why are they so disrespectful to VR developers? It's crazy.
I don't know. It's because they have like a sub team working on VR, so they just don't care or pay attention enough to what they're doing, I guess.
It's crazy.
And these mistakes happen. Yeah.
Like, fair enough, Pippin's Quest or whatever the fuck that game is called. But this is like a pretty decent game, you know. It's got like it's very well received, and like it's the Quest version anyway, which is the trailer I have here in the background.
Sony would be like, oh, damn it. Someone go down to the basement and tell Jeff not to do that anymore with with the VR releases. Man, he just keeps messing up.
But apparently there was like a big issue with the hot ass support. Apparently there was some kind of control issues there, which were fixed in the day 1 patch, but obviously the day 1 patch wasn't day 1. So people were complaining about that. So yeah, it's just the game's out now if you're interested. But just to highlight as well that Sony are like bitches, you know, and so disrespectful to these indie developers. It's crazy.
Yeah,
like some of these, this is their livelihood, you know, and it's like Sony are like, whatever, we'll do what we want.
And they're not ready for like the day 1 patch that they really needed, so it's just kind of like left them hanging for like first impressions. Yeah,
it's
not
cool.
good.
But speaking of first impressions, they've been mostly positive. I haven't got it yet. It's one of those things I need to pay the bills first, and then I have to worry about getting this game.
I haven't bought it either, and I might be much more overhyped for Aces of Thunder. So I like it. maybe I'll get it after the state of play, because I'm hoping that we'll see like a release date and more for Aces of Thunder, and maybe fingers crossed they'll say like out now or something.
Nah,
I don't
it's
know.
like, don't do that.
Imagine
Don't do that to yourself.
Imagine that. I
They
know.
won't do it for Phasmophobia either. They won't do it for Phasmophobia either before you say it.
No,
Alright,
but I
don't
mean,
think about it.
after like once I get clarification that it's not like anytime immediately soon, because if they don't show it off at state of play, then it's going to be a little bit. Then I'll probably pick up Aces or Ultra Wings, because yeah, if I buy this and then I find out in like a few weeks Aces of the Thunder's coming out, then I probably won't be playing much of the Ultra Wings. So
Yeah,
don't need two flight games at the same time.
fair enough. That's fair enough. I would say as well, the first Ultra Wings on PSVR1 is like one of 2 games ever that made me feel motion sickness. So I'm hoping this isn't something I'm going to have to worry about with like this game or Aces of Thunder.
Well, it could have been because of. Do you think it was the look of the game, or maybe like the frames, like the frame rate wasn't?
I don't know.
That great back
I
then.
didn't notice like particularly chuggy frame rates or anything, but
Okay.
I think it was just like flying in the air and then taking these sharp turns and stuff, and it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
you know. But anyway, let me catch up on some chats.
Well, you played Star Wars Squadrons. That didn't make you feel sick.
That's true.
So
Yeah, that's true.
It'd be something about that game, and you turn like a lot in that game. So
Good point. So hopefully there's hope for Aces of Thunder. Christopher Hart says, "Lol, I love gaming online, but there is some crowd control needed when kids join these games." Oh yeah, that's what you meant. Lots of kids in the room. There was a few kids, all right, screaming at us. Let's play with the shotguns. Let's play with the shotguns. Jeremiah says, "Oh, okay. That would be the bar." There you go. Now you know. Jeremiah says, "I am just waiting for Aces of Thunder. If that was not a thing, I would have bought Ultra Wings day one." So there you go. Aces of Thunder eating into Ultra Wings sales, it seems. All right, I'm moving on to the next topic. Pavlov is getting 2 new maps. At long last.
Oh yeah.
It's
And
nearly,
they look like sweet looking maps too.
They sure do. They sure do. This game is nearly a year old on PSVR 2, by the way, and we're finally getting new maps, which have kind of been long hinted at. But it looks like maybe they're worth the waste, because they do look really, really good.
They look good, and hopefully this is like just the start of more to come. Maybe it's not like a one and done thing. Maybe they'll have a couple new ones like a little while
Well, they
down
have
the
to,
road.
because the game is in the top 10 charts all the time for PSVR 2. So, like,
Yeah.
you know, they have to be catering to these people who are buying it. You would imagine. Are these going to be free, do you think? Actually, I forgot to look that up. I know it says it's going to be part of Update 30, but I can't remember if they said they were free or not. I assume
I don't know.
free.
I thought that they would be. Yeah. Like I don't know if they would charge for DLC.
Yeah,
for this
because then you're going to
game,
split the player base, and that's not a good idea. So I'm going to assume that they
Yeah,
are free.
it'd have
Nobody
to be
said anything
free,
about
right?
them being monetized.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 new maps shown off by YouTuber Yellow Hats, which is the video you're seeing here. I will put the link in the comments below, because I forgot to do that in the description. But check out his channel if you want to see his properly, because he does do like a walkthrough. It's not just a trailer. He goes into detail on each map. So it's worth watching. And also, and Muzz pointed out, because I missed it when I was watching it, I was kind of half watching this, but the awesome map is set in Ireland. So there you go.
It's loosely based on Dublin, Ireland. It said so.
There you
I don't.
go.
It's not going to be a 1-for-1 on the city or anything. But I mean, you might look familiar to you if it's.
Yeah, well, the building's kind of like they got like the pub look and stuff like that is
Yeah.
bang on. The other map then is Carnival, which is kind of another one of those, like, you know, on Firewall we were like, oh, what kind of map would we like to see? People like snow map or desert map or whatever, and then there was every once in a while someone would be like, oh, a Carnival or a Fun Fair.
That was me.
Funhouse.
That was me. That was Matt. I said that a long time ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're getting what you want, and I'm going to Ireland, so we're both
Now,
happy.
it's not fully what I wanted, because I was saying that for Firewall, and I was thinking that like the carnival rides would be like moving and stuff like while you're playing, but everything looks stationary on this, so I don't think you're going to be seeing like anything moving in terms of the rides, which it still looks cool though.
Got like a dinosaur,
dinosaur, haunted house. Yeah, it looks pretty cool looking.
Both of the maps are optimized for search and destroy, which is probably the most popular mode in Pavlov. I was saying it to you, Moz, earlier on, but I'll ask the chat, because I don't know if it's my imagination or not, but these 2 maps look way better than the maps that we have already in Pavlov, like just visually, like the quality of them. Is that my imagination, or is that like something to do with the fact that they're built up, ground up with Unreal Engine 5 rather than being ported to Unreal Engine 5? I don't know.
I think maybe there's more clutter. Like I'm seeing like a lot more like stuff filling out like the rooms and stuff, and like more debris. And like on the autumn map, you see like a lot of leaves like all over the streets.
Yeah.
So like it does kind of like, add more that way.
Like the sunset coming down as well. Like that looks way better than. I don't think there's any. I've never noticed the sky in any of the Pavlov maps that we have now, if you know what I mean. Whereas the skies look way better in this. I don't know. Maybe it's.
But this is also giving you like this is also giving you like an overview, like view of the map. Like you're not like in the game, like on the
true. That's true.
On the street, look like just running around shooting. So
well, there is points where he's walking around and he's like holding guns and stuff. So like now at this point. But then again, he's in a shadowy area here, so it's hard to tell. But I still think it just looks better. Donnie's here says these maps look class. Speaking of moving, Jackpot can't stop with that hat of his. There you go. He's not stationary. But yeah, I just think they look really, really good. So I'm really excited for them. Of course, we don't have any date for them, which is the sad part. But given how detailed the walkthrough is, like he really goes into all the details you'd imagine it must be done. And maybe they're just being checked by Sony at this stage or something. And
yeah, they look pretty much finished, unless there's like a tweaking, like little things here and there just to get it exactly where they want it, but it can't be that.
In fairness, he did say it's like part of update 30 for Pavlov, so for all we know, there's like a lot of other stuff coming in that update, gameplay wise, that we don't know. Maybe even a new mode. But we'll have to wait and see on that. Is there anything else you want to say about this, Muzz? Yeah,
no, I just want I want these two maps look great, and I just want them to keep bringing up new stuff for it. If they can get us some kind of like progression system, like I don't know what they would do. I can't imagine it's in this one, because it would be more of a focus. I don't think they would be keeping that secret.
Yeah,
if they were planning on doing like something big changing in terms of progression systems of any kind in Pavlov. So that's probably not going to be happening anytime soon. But new maps are the most important thing with the shooters like this. Like you need to keep it fresh and keep it updated.
If we have to wait like another 10 months for another few maps, like that's too long, isn't it? Too
long. But they don't have they can get away with it because they don't have that much competition. Like they don't. Like they have Firewall, which the studio closed, so it's pretty much you buy what you get there, and that's it.
Yeah.
And Breachers, which I don't think Breachers is the same kind of game as Pavlov. Like they're too different. So
well, Breachers is also like could do with some new maps as well. It's like doesn't have a huge selection.
They have less maps than Pavlov does.
Yeah.
I think
so they don't really have to worry about that either.
No.
All right, I'm going to move on to the next thing, which is Prison Boss VR. I don't know if you remember this one. We talked about it before, but they got a demo for this out in the PlayStation Store. So if you want to check this out, you can do so. I don't really have anything else to say about this game. It's like you're making cigarettes or whatever and selling them in prison. I think everybody's an egg for some reason. Egg people. And there you go. Check out Prison Boss demo.
My friend Andy Dufresne crawled through that pipe for 3 miles through shit and worse smells.
Danny says, I don't think a progression system will be put in play for Pavlov because you have all the weapons are available at the beginning of each round. Same with Breachers. I mean, it would have to be just cosmetic stuff if they do us, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Unless they do like a competitive ranked thing where you're like bronze, silver, gold, whatever.
No, there's a market for this kind of game. There's crowds that like this kind of stuff, but not for me. I'm not interested in the least.
Well, there you go. Well, you can try the demo just in case. So I'm going to move on to the last topic.
I'll probably pass. I don't even think I want
to. Fair enough. I was just being polite. So I was just being polite in case anyone was watching it from the dev team.
Sorry.
So yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. You can be honest. Ghostbusters, Muzz, because they're teasing what seems to be a DLC. They tweeted out that something is coming on the 31st of January, which, by the way, happens to be the same days as the State of Play, which is why I think they're going to show it off at the State of Play. But they said, get ready, Ghostbusters, something slimy is coming.
So Slimer, clearly,
a Slimer
is going to be a focus. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Probably. Magnum Gaming says the progression system is get good, you get money to buy upgrades and weapons when you get good. That's true, but that works in Search and Destroy, but then there's other modes like, you know, Team Deathmatch or whatever, where you just start off with however much money you need, and it's not really important then, and progression doesn't really matter in that mode or several of the other modes. But that's fair enough. That's what do you think this is going to be? Probably just another mode.
Just another mode. Like, the only way that they would have my attention is if they have like a separate. They can't make it separate though, because then they're not going to like split player bases. But like, I want like the old school Ghostbusters. Like, I want that kind of look and feel. Like, even if they can't get like the likeness exactly like the original Ghostbusters, like I don't expect them to like get the voices of Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray and stuff, and they probably couldn't even like use like the license of. Well, they have the license obviously, so maybe they can have the characters look like the younger versions of like the original crew, and just not like the voices. Would not be there, maybe. But I'd be happy with that. Like, that would be more of my interest. So
I don't think,
but like the whole. No, they literally would have to like rehaul, like the tone and look of it would have to change, and they're not going to do that. No, so this is basically just going to be like another game mode option where you're just either chasing down Slimer or he's doing some like shenanigans that you have to stop or something, and that's the whole loop. So, in
my opinion, this game is a perfect example of held back by Quest. This is a game I would point to as like, this game would not look like this if it was on a PSVR2 only, and if the PSVR2 was the dominant platform that everyone wanted to make games on. It wouldn't be, you know, comic book style, colorful goo and all this kind of shit. In my opinion, obviously we'll never know because we don't live in an alternate reality to prove any of that.
I just think that they just missed on like the fundamental tone and atmosphere of a Ghostbusters. Like, this is obviously more catered towards the younger crowd, and like, if it's working for them, like, kudos to them. Like, obviously if they're getting all like the younger kids playing this because it's, you know, colorful and like Fortnite colors and like, you know, that kind of style, like with like the outfits and stuff. Yeah. And that's who they're focusing on. But like,
yeah, they're probably doing decent on Quest, but I doubt it's
probably PS2. They're probably selling okay. Just like, I bet when you go into the lobbies though, it's predominantly like kids. I'm pretty sure you'd get a lot of lobbies like Pavlov. It would be like not Pavlov, Breachers. Be like a lot of kids in there.
Yeah. LSB says that new Ghostbusters movie looks trash, just like this game. There was a trailer for the new one, so yeah, maybe this DLC will tie in with the new movie somehow. Donnie says the PSVR2 was the bar of tech, maybe. Unreal Engine 5 would be the only engine games were made on, in my opinion. Well, that's not necessary even. That would be cool. You know, obviously Unreal Engine is a very powerful system, or engine, but there's other engines that work fine for PSVR2. Obviously the Unity one seems to be one that doesn't play nicely with that dynamic foveated rendering because they can't make it work. Anyway, Muzz, I think we're out of topics, which means fax machine time. Are you ready for that fax? Or is there anything else you want to say about Ghostbusters before we move on?
No.
Alright, hit the intro.
It's that time again for questions and topics submitted by our viewers. So let's go to our fax machine and see what we have. Fax me harder, Daddy. I've been a bad boy.
There we go. Welcome to the fax machine, lads and ladies. A nice little fax emoji from Donnie to let us know when we're looking back. Fax me harder, Daddy. You better believe us. Jackpot is dead. Coffin. Damn. Anyway, the first question is from Solid Justice. Thank you, Solid Justice, for writing in, taking in the time to write in. We really appreciate it. He says, what game, virtual reality or FLAS, do you hope to see at the State of Play?
My first hope would be Astrobot.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I think they need that little guy in a big way. So
Yeah.
that's that would be my that wouldn't be my biggest like wish, but like that's my best guess as to like possibility of a big game announced.
Okay.
I think Astrobot.
My hope is for this rumored Twisted Metal game that they've been talking about for a long time, and for that to have some kind of PSVR2 support.
Damn.
If they could do that, that'd be swell. Although I feel like if the leaker is legit, he probably would have leaked that or hinted at us or something. You know, it'd be pretty.
Unless he didn't get that one.
Maybe.
You know.
Maybe.
I think you're getting your hopes up, because if that is a thing, I'm pretty sure I'd have my money on that just being a flat game. I think they'll have a big.
He's not about hopes. He just said hopes. I don't expect this. Hope. I don't think it's ever going to be there. But if I had to hope, because it makes sense with the TV show that's out, Twisted Metal. There's been rumors of that game coming, and that game, or that not game show. The TV show is apparently decent as well. So I want to watch it. But yeah, I'd really like to see that come to PSVR2.
It would be the
hybrid would be.
It would be the good time. It would be the good time for it to come out around the show, and like the lot of talk about Twisted Metal in general.
Yeah.
Would be
Season 2 is happening too, isn't it? Like there's another season.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think Anthony Mackie announced that at the Game Awards. So
nice. Magnum Gaming says, I think Silent Hill 2 with VR2 port would be awesome. And Silent Hill 2 will be there. I'm pretty sure will be there tomorrow. They're probably going to have a date for us. They're going to be like, oh, it's coming out whenever. And I would
VR mode
to have the VR mode, but I just don't. Yeah. I just don't see it happening. I feel like there'd be no reason for them not to have mentioned that before now. However, it is made by Bloober team, and they've done the Layers of Fear, and they did do Layers of Fear VR. So there's a slight possibility. I wouldn't rule us out at all. But I don't know. I think Bloober are probably so terrified of messing up this remake because it's so beloved that they're just focusing on the flat version, and then maybe down the line we might get a VR mode for it or something.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't know. Twisted Metal, yeah, of course. That's just a hope. You know, it's not going to happen. Don't even get your hopes up, all right? I'm just answering the question.
Now, going back with about the Honor and Duty and how there's no other game like it. Mm-hmm. Another big wish of mine is Sony has an IP called Meg, which I wish that they would go back and revive.
You said Meg. I was like, what the fuck is Meg?
Meg.
Yeah.
M-A-G. Yeah. Shut up, Meg.
No, Meg would be a good
one. If they can revive that, and for VR, they already have a game. They already have a game there.
That shit was way ahead of its time.
Yeah, that was like 120 something battle.
That was each. I think total was like 256.
Yeah. Now they did. They did kind of. They kind of cheated a little bit because they were like kind of segmented off. I think for like different players, like on the map.
Oh, so you couldn't actually beat them?
Not the entire team. I'm pretty sure they did some kind of thing where like there was like different sectors where like a whole. Like so many players were here and so many players were here. I might be wrong, but like it's been a while since I played it. But I think they kind of cheated that way to get that much players on the map.
I should look into that.
Yeah.
Ellis B says could never get into Astrobot in PSVR 1. I never finished it myself. But even though I wouldn't be massively hyped about another Astrobot, personally, I would still want to see it because I know a lot of people might even buy a headset for that. I really liked the one that came free with the PS5. I really enjoyed that one. Mostly because of all the nods to, all the PlayStation games over the years. And I'm a massive PlayStation fanboy, so that shit was good.
And there hasn't been a game since that actually used the DualSense controller as good as that game did.
No.
Like they showed what the capabilities of were with the controller when you're playing that game, and how like you felt different
materials,
rumblings.
And shit.
Yeah, like running on glass was like felt different than running on wood or running on sand. It's like, how did they do that? And then no game came close to using those features since. It's just like it was like, all right, it was fun to use those features for this one throw-in game with the console.
Yeah,
So
some games have like used
enjoy that.
one or two of the things, but they haven't done everything together like they have.
No,
Like
not
Returnal, I
everything.
don't know if you played Returnal, but like when the rain's coming down, you can feel it, like the pitter patter of raindrops on the controller. That's cool as well. But
Right. Yeah, but not to the extent of like feeling different textures depending on like
no,
what you're
no, it still
walking
blew my
on and
mind.
all that.
Remember the like in the main area, you got the PS logo on the ground. It's like metallic, and you walk over that, and it's like ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding, and it's like you feel
Yeah.
that in the controller somehow.
Yeah. It
That
was
really
great.
blew my mind. Um, Anyway, Jeremiah says, just give me an official PSVR2 showing for Contractor Showdown and I will be happy. I don't think games like that will be at shows like this. I think those are PS blog posts. I think those are
Probably,
PS
yeah.
blog posts. I think we'll see Ghostbusters because that's a big enough IP that they would put that on display. And
Yeah.
obviously Metro as well because that's a brand new game and it's been leaked. You would probably count that as
But
a AAA game.
neither of those games are Sony first party. So if like what like they have to have a Sony first party, right?
I don't know
Like
because
there has to
remember
be.
as soon as that
It's got to
Insomniac
be
leak,
Astrobot. It's
leak
got to
happened and they didn't have a single viewer thing, I'm like, well, if they're not putting Insomniac on one, then who the fuck are they putting on a PSVR 2?
Yeah.
Team Asobi obviously is a good shout, but even them, I wouldn't be surprised if their next game is like hybrid, if it even has PSVR 2 support,
Yeah.
because they
Like
would sell more copies if it was flat. That's just the sad reality of us. Like if they do another
it would.
Astrobot that's flat, like just like the launch, like the PS5 bundle, except like a big, proper AAA, they would just sell more. But I would hope it would have hybrid.
Would you be happy enough if they just took that game and made that in VR, like the exact same game,
Like
just made it
patched this,
playable in
yeah,
VR?
100%.
Maybe
100%.
they could do that. Maybe they can be like, all right, well, everybody already has this on the like because it's free,
Yeah.
so now you can play it. Now you can play it in VR.
People
So now
would bitch though. People would be like, "Oh no, I wanted a proper, Rescue Mission
Yeah.
2 or
like
whatever."
like a full game.
Yeah. Shut up, Meg, says Danny. Exactly. Okay, let's move on to the next question, which is
Yep.
from Peace, and I haven't read this one yet. He says, so using the current established VR team... Oh, wait, I did. Sorry, I'll start again. So using the current established VR team-based shooters we have available now, and he says Firewall, Breachers, Pavlov, and Alvo, and I guess I can include D-Day. I want to take a mix of all of them to create the ultimate VR first-person shooter. If you can, try and include at least one thing from each. Example, Firewall graphics, Pavlov gun realism, Breachers 12 rounds of play, and personally I'm not including Alvo or D-Day, haha. There you go. So basically, Moz, if you were to create like a Frankenstein perfect first-person shooter, taking the elements out of each of those games, which elements would you take out of those games to do it?
Pretty much what he said. Only I would include D-Day with the big battles because I want the battlefield. I want Battlefield.
I'd have to
So
agree.
if
I'd have to agree.
I want I want exactly what Pavlov does with its weapons.
Yeah.
I don't think that can be beat.
Mhm.
And I want the leveling progression system of a Firewall, even mixed a little bit with how D-Day is doing it with like their progression system. And
The visuals of Firewall, of course.
well, yeah. I don't know if I would take too much I want a Battlefield style game, so I don't know how much of Breachers I can really borrow. Like some of the gadgets would be cool in like a Battlefield game, like throwing up the drone and being able to scout like around the battlefield. That'd be pretty badass. But all the little traps and stuff wouldn't really fit my ideal game. But
Repelling. I take the repelling and breaching from Breachers. That's like destruction, if you could call it.
I think I'm getting off track because the question was use existing games to combine into like something that you'd want to play. Well, I guess I'm doing that because I'm throwing D-Day in there.
Yeah,
for like the big.
I think
the
you've
big
done
battle.
it. You've done it well.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'd copy. My answer is practically the same as Muzz's there. I don't think there's anything else I would pick.
You'd go with the big battle as well. You'd go with.
Well, if I had to take something from Honor and Doozy, then it would definitely be the player count, like that. Even if it was just like one mode, like a battle royale mode or something, that had 64 players, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, but you would rather a big scale battle game than like a really refined like 5v5
I think
that
we have
has
enough.
like all the best elements.
I think we have enough for the 5v5s, kind of small stuff. I would like a proper big one. Hopefully, Contractors Showdown can scratch that itch a little bit.
Yeah,
But
So,
yeah, Mix is sliding from Alvo, so there you go. We got something from Alvo in there too.
yeah.
Is there anything else from
There you
Alvo
go.
that would be good? Oh, the Alvo has the best fucking settings. You know, like you can really customize the position of the gun and the gun offsets, and you can like move it up and down the
Yeah.
y-axis and all that shit. So that
Yeah.
would be great.
The customization, the control customization of
Of
Alvo.
Avlo,
That's
yeah.
for sure.
You
Yeah.
just built the ultimate game there. That's a good question, Pete. And so was Solids. Brave with the last one. He says, would you rather have permanent Cheeto fingers or a permanent itchy nose?
Permanent itchy nose. Or Cheeto fingers? That just means your fingers are
Permanent.
always orange?
Like they got like the crumbs and the crust, or you know what, the residues, and so everything you touch would just be Cheeto
Just
residue
Cheeto.
all over them.
I'll go with the itchy nose, I guess, because I think eventually you just get used to it. So I'll go with
Okay.
that.
I think the itchy nose would be worse to go with for you personally, but I would still pick it. Not you, but like me as like anyone who's making the decision, because you'd be like, I hate an itchy nose. Like it feels like it makes my eyes tear up sometimes if it gets too itchy. You know.
Yeah, I guess there has to be the severity of how itchy it is, I suppose.
But
Because I mean, if you have Cheeto hands, I guess you could just put gloves on, and then
Yeah.
it's not much of an issue.
there
So
you go. I was
I'll
going to
go
say
with the Cheeto hands.
I was
I'll
going to
go with the
say
Cheeto hands.
I was going to say the reason I would pick the itchy nose is because the Cheeto fingers, you're affecting everyone else. You know,
Yeah.
like you're messing up the house, you're messing up the couch. But then you just said the gloves, so you know, Cheeto fingers with gloves, please.
Yep.
So you've been
Go with
defeated,
that.
Brave. You've been defeated by gloves, and that's The Last of Us. And this is
That's
definitely the
it.
shortest we've done, an hour and a half. So Jackpot adds an hour onto these episodes, if you're wondering. Sometimes maybe an hour and a half himself.
With all his ramblings on about Mexican
Insane,
food and
insane
all his
ramblings. Satanism, you know, Illuminati.
taking his his smoke breaks, like going on mute and all that fun stuff. But we'd have so much to talk about after tomorrow.
Yeah,
But
it's going to be old news by the time we're talking about it.
yeah,
LSB, oh sorry, Tasuki says Alvo is the best at knowing no one voting for us, lol.
Very true.
LSB says, does Muzz speak French?
No,
No.
I do not.
Damn, he said that in
Oddly enough,
French.
because my mother is Acadian French, and she had to learn English.
Whoa.
But
She didn't teach you anything growing up?
no, funny enough, she was starting to. I have a sister, so me and my sister, she would speak to us in English and French as we were growing up. And when we were in kindergarten, or when I was in kindergarten, the teacher I had in kindergarten during a parent-teacher interview thing, when the parents went in, they told my mom, "Oh, you have to stop talking to your kids in French and English because it's messing them up, because they're speaking like half in English and half in French, and it's like it's." So my mom was like, "Oh, okay, I didn't realize this." And she was like, "Yeah, it's like if it would affect their like learning progress because they're so confused and they can't speak like just one or the other." So my mom just stopped talking to us in French and talked to us in English going forward.
Damn.
So that stupid ass teacher prevented me from being bilingual because my mother would have taught us growing up.
She scared your mother out of us.
Yeah.
How many
Yeah,
opportunities
pretty
have been
much.
robbed from you because you don't speak French, you know? Probably
much.
jobs you could have. Translating jobs.
What an asshole teacher.
Yeah.
Like, no, your kid wouldn't want to be bilingual. Yeah, stop that. Stop.
Warham says, oh no. There we go. You've been defeated, Warham. Cheezo Fingers says, Donnie with gloves. Sony are bitches, says Move Master Make Amen. It's all the bitches you're lacking. And LSB says, very interesting, Muzz. Donnie says, learning more languages is the best way to understand others in the world.
Yeah.
Sorry, Muzz, says Donnie. There you go. And with that,
Sometimes.
we will draw an end, close the curtains on episode 63.
Everybody get super excited for tomorrow. Woo!
Yeah, I'm going to be streaming that. I am going to be streaming it.
I'm gonna be at work. I wish I could join.
Well, it's probably for the best anyway, because my laptop would not let you. Like, if I'm capturing a video and ye as well, it blanks you out. So it would just be your audio if you were down for that. But yeah, I need a new PC. Jeremiah with a GG and Donnie with the GGs. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Take care. Mind yourselves.
Everybody.
And let us know how this was without Jackbite. You know, let's have a vote. Keep him out. That's it. Keep him out. I think everyone agrees. Keep him out. We all hate him.
Get ready to either rejoice in Discord tomorrow or be very, very upset in Discord tomorrow.
Yeah.
Later, everybody.
Don't get your hopes up. Goodbye.
What the fuck is this?